Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
New this morning, we are seeing some major fog issues on the eastern shore. Queen Anne's County Public Schools on a 90-minute delay. So are Talbot County and Kent County Public Schools. Caroline County Schools, they're on a 2-hour delay this morning because of the fog. Well, good morning to all of you on this Wednesday, October 26th. I'm Patrice Sanders.
I'm Tom Rogers. We need to get right over to meteorologist Justin Chambers. He's excited to be here talking about the fog.
All pumped up. Exactly right. And today is the 26th.
Yeah.
Didn't you say we're 60 days out from
60 days out from Christmas?
Christmas
that's right.
today?
Yeah. So very close. Yeah, yesterday was the 25th. That's right. All right. Looking at the cloudy skies and the fog that is with us here this morning. Yeah, I know a lot of kids in Baltimore County are like, how come we can't have a nice 2-hour delay and sleep in? But this is what it looks like out there for a lot of us. This is in Towson. The roads are wet. The drizzle remains. These are the visibility numbers right here. The thickest fog. You can see it right there on the right side of your screen. Easton, Denton, Chestertown, up into areas as you head up toward Wilmington and northern Cecil County as well. Statewide, our numbers are in the 50s and 60s, so it's not a cold start to the morning, but I still have that yellow light. Mr. Bowe says, hey, take it slow. Just plan a little extra time. Make sure to leave plenty of room with the car in front of you, which sometimes you can't even see. Sun comes up in about 25 minutes from right now. We're actually going to see temperatures in the 60s this afternoon. We'll take a closer look at that forecast as well as what we can expect for Halloween weekend, the final weekend of October, right around the corner. So, Tom, what's it looking like right now on the road?
Looking like a mess. Southwest of Baltimore City here, because this is one right here. You're just looking at the one on 70, though. If you're going eastbound, that's 5 vehicles involved there. There's also another one behind that right at the end of where you start piling up on 72. The other one right near mile marker 83, there's a 2-vehicle accident there, so probably just not ready for the slowdown. Then there's also another major accident involving 4 vehicles. That's on 32 eastbound right at Shaker Drive, so if you're heading to 32. And then once you get there, 95 southbound, 3 vehicles involved right at the Patuxent Parkway. That's causing some backups there. And then BW Parkway is backed up just because people are leaving 95 and heading over there. So another morning with slow commutes if you're heading to D.C. from Baltimore.
I will aim to reduce homicides by 15% each year in my term.
That was Mayor Brandon Scott in 2020 pledging to reduce homicides in Baltimore 15% each time, something that has not yet happened. And as crime continues to be out of control, mayors from all over our country will be coming to Baltimore in the hopes of finding solutions to stop the violence.
Olivia Dance is joining us live from the hotel where that conference is set to kick off. Olivia?
Well, as you mentioned, starting today, mayors from all over the country will meet here at the Hilton in the Inner Harbor as an effort to reduce homicides and shootings. This is now the 9th annual Cities United convening, kicking off this afternoon and running until Friday. But it comes as October has been a particularly violent month in Baltimore, and as Mayor Scott continues to defend his unsuccessful attempts at reducing homicides.
We are talking about, Mackenzie, a disease of violence that has existed in Baltimore for over 50 years. And the people of Baltimore want it to be handled the right way, and they also understand that it's bigger than the police department.
The conference will include over 500 participants made up of mayors, city leaders, community organizations, and more. And those participating say they are committed to reducing homicides and shootings among young black men and boys by 50% by 2025. And Mayor Scott is addressing participants at the opening ceremony tonight. And Fox 45 News will be monitoring the events to see if Baltimore city leaders come up with any new solutions to reduce the violence. For now, reporting live in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 Morning News.
Well, Monday marked 9 months since the tragedy on Stricker Street, where 3 Baltimore City firefighters were killed while they were battling a blaze inside a vacant home. Now, Baltimore is unveiling a program to mark dangerous vacant homes in an effort to keep firefighters safe. A decade-old program called Project X-Ray tried to do the same thing, but funding ran dry after 2 years. Now, city leaders are hoping to avoid future disaster.
It's long overdue. It shouldn't have took this long to get the program back up and running. Having these markings on the building gives us a little extra sense of saying, hey, we need to slow down just a bit, reevaluate once we get in there, and make sure it's safe for us to actually proceed.
Now, before this plan began, firefighters had to rely on their knowledge of vacants in an area and an often outdated computer system. To see Maxine Stryker's full story, including perspective from the fallen firefighters' loved ones, head over to foxbaltimore.com. Continuing coverage of this morning, City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby is firing back at Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh.
Frosh filed a court document raising red flags about Mosby's handling of the Adnan Syed case. Last month, City State's Attorney Office moved to vacate his conviction. Days later, he walked out of that courthouse, a man on house arrest. Now he is a free man.
Shannon Liddy joins us live at the Cummings Courthouse with a look at how this could impact the case going forward. Shannon.
Yeah, Attorney General Brian Frosh, Patrice, is questioning the very fabric of this case, and he is accusing City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby of having very little evidence to warrant Adnan Syed's release. You'll remember that release happening right here at this very courthouse. Just last month, Adnan Syed walked out unshackled and a free man after a judge vacated his murder conviction in the 1999 killing of Hae Min Lee. But now Frosh is slamming Mosby's handling of this case, calling it unorthodox and questionable. The Attorney General writing, quote, the timing and contents of the motion, the hearing on the motion, the subsequent dismissal of the charges, and the out-of-court statements of Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby raised red flags about the integrity and neutrality of the proceedings. Well, that statement is a response from the Attorney General to efforts by defense attorneys to exclude him from a pending appeal in this case. But his words have put two prosecutors at odds, which is highly unusual, not something we typically see. Marilyn Mosby firing back, though, saying in part, quote, we stand by our investigation and our ultimate finding that there is no credible evidence that Mr. Syed was involved in the death of Miss Lee. Our investigation is extensive, and only a portion of our findings were outlined in the motion in order to present enough compelling evidence for the court to consider our request without compromising this open and pending investigation. Now, as for what's next, an appeals court will have to decide whether or not to hear this case. A timeline on this still unclear. Reporting live from the City Circuit Court, I'm Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 Morning News.
This is just the latest concern to come from the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office.
Yeah, Monday, we told you about the plea deal offered to the 15-year-old squeegee kid accused of killing Timothy Reynolds in July. If it wasn't rejected, he would have been sent to prison for 60 years. Spokesperson for Marilyn Mosby's office admitted it was a mistake and that deal was rescinded. The Maryland Public Policy Institute wants an investigation into her office, citing possible incidents of, quote, misconduct, incompetence, and mismanagement. That group's questioning recent exonerations after a federal judge said a freed Baltimore man used false evidence in 2018.
And then in June, a Baltimore judge wrote an opinion saying that staffing problems in the state's attorney's office is leading to egregious failures in the case against 26 Baltimore City correctional officers. All the charges were eventually dropped.
Now, Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby will be back in court December 15th for a hearing on 3 issues concerning her upcoming trial. The topics include Mosby's request to move the trial out of Baltimore, whether her legal team should be sanctioned for disclosing juror information, and the federal government's request for a gag order.
Fox 45 will follow the federal case against Marilyn Mosby and any other concerns that come up surrounding her office. We will keep you updated both on air and on our website, foxbaltimore.com.
Well, did you know fall is trending toward becoming like summer, at least when it comes to traveling?
More than 25% of Americans said they plan to take a trip in October. Just did that. I understand it. This is according to a market research firm.
Airline executives at Delta, United, American Airlines have all said more people are traveling because of flexible and hybrid work schedules now. Plus, people are combining business trips with leisure. And as more people are traveling, costs are up. Average daily hotel rates are up about 22% compared to this same time last year. So when you're looking at buying those tickets, a little bit pricier. Yeah.
Everything is pricier these days,
Right.
so I don't even know if what we just paid for this trip, although it was planned, you know, a month, almost a year ago, but I just think everything is pricier. But it's a nice fall getaway.
I don't like that this is a trend because here's the deal. Because my wife and I fly with benefits. Hence why we went to Ireland randomly, right? Excuse me. So October is always the best time to fly. It's called non-revving or flying standby. And now if everybody's going to fly in October, I'm like, great, now we don't have a seat.
And we always go away in October because it's our anniversary.
Yeah.
But now that we have kids who are literally in everything possible, we can't get away in October anymore.
Yeah.
So I think
not
those
getting
little
away.
people, I know.
Yeah, the travel a little bit different though. But I mean, you think about it, when kids are in school, it's still summer. I mean, you'll still get your getaways there, Justin.
You'll be all right.
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay. Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
Your free flights.
You're still making
Not
it.
free.
Well, okay.
I brought you some
You're
candies
like
back over there
5%
from my
tickets.
October flight.
Oh, okay.
For my
I
trip.
didn't know that there was October candy.
There's some
October
maple
candies.
some maple candies.
It
You know,
makes you
that's
say
big
A,
there.
though. No way, eh? Every time you eat it.
Really? It's like a
I
strange.
didn't hear any of that.
Like a strange brew
never
thing.
did?
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
French?
Oh yeah, French.
A lot of
It's
French.
I
a
asked
lot of
Patrice
French.
if she had poutine in Canada. She said, yeah.
I did.
So,
See?
yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is a foggy start to your morning again. Looking out over the Inner Harbor from our live cam there. Sun comes up in about 20 minutes from right now. It's going to help a little bit. Now, we do have cloudy conditions and the potential for a couple of showers here as we head toward the afternoon. The good news is we dry out nicely tomorrow. A lot more sunshine on the way for Thursday and Friday, and even into Saturday. It's going to be a real nice fall weekend to wrap up the month. But out for a run or a jog in the next few hours, yeah, wet roads and trails and foggy conditions. Back with your full forecast in just a few.
All right, thank you, Justin. We're now less than 2 weeks from Election Day, and a new poll shows rising prices is the top concern, though, among voters, but not for many bankers.
Megan Gillen at our Live Center breaking down the new numbers and what it could mean at the polls. Megan.
Well, take a look here. This is the new report right here, and it indicates consumer confidence is the lowest it's been since July. They've got the graph here. Obviously, we've been lower in the past, but right here we're seeing that dip. And the Conference Board is saying that inflation is the main reason for that drop. Higher prices forcing some people to actually curb their spending. We just talked about vacations there. If enough Americans do that, guys, though, financial experts say the whole economy could slow down and we could see another recession. But there are some top bankers, investors, that they're saying that this is not even the biggest concern right now.
We'll manage right through that. I would worry much more about the geopolitics of the world today.
There's an existential risk of war, international war.
You see them at that round table right now. Those group of bankers are meeting in Saudi Arabia talking about this and what to do if it does happen. That's the latest from our Live Center. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Megan. It's almost time to satisfy your sweet tooth with some fresh baked goods.
Mark Clark live from Northeast Baltimore with a preview of What's So Baltimore today. You got to put the food down and talk to us.
Look at the size of that donut, though. Oh, my goodness.
Bigger than his
Come
head.
on.
Oh, hey.
Look at the size of this donut.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
That's like a six
I'm
trying to cut down.
Out of the Weather Center to take a look at this.
So, yeah, where are you and what's going on, Mark?
Either he
Woodley Bake. I'm sorry, I'm having breakfast. Excuse me. Woodley Bakery celebrating almost 80 years. We're here this morning. We'll talk about the amazing products, the history, and a pumpkin pie. We'll make a pumpkin pie this morning.
Yeah.
We just sent the police to bring that back immediately.
Can he bring back an apple fritter?
An apple fritter? What? Look at
An
the
apple
size
fritter.
of that.
I got a fritter.
Fritter
All
from
right.
that place.
The producers are freaking out. We got to go.
I got.
All right, coming up in our next half hour, city leaders and Baltimore City Police come together and try and bring down crime. We'll take a look at the big focus today, and the countdown to Election Day is on, where marijuana legalization is landing on your ballot.
And playing video games is a sweet escape for some, but it can also be an expensive one. After the break, how you can make sure your kids are not spending your money in these games. 7:13, you're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. 7:16, playing video games can be fun, but it can also be expensive if you get lured into making the purchases while you're in the game. And for parents who think their child is playing a free app, the in-app purchases may come as a surprise. So what do you need to know? For this week's Confident Consumer, Angie Barnett with the Better Business Bureau is joining us. First thing is, a free game doesn't mean free.
I know, and I'm telling you, we're doing this story for my benefit. Rarely do I do personal stories. This is my weakness, our games, because, you know, like children, I thought gaming would help me, you know, mentally and keep me fresh. And then I just counted, and I have 6 on my cell phone app.
Okay.
So, all the apps I use and available to anybody, everybody, children, can be free. There are free in-game, you know, gaming apps. Here's the thing: when you get in, they'll have limited lives, limited numbers of times you can play. They have all these caveats. There's a couple of them that actually you can change their outfits, and you get really involved in this because this is your vested interest. Patrice, I have a game that I lose points if I don't play it the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm up to over 2.5 years. Yeah.
and so you pay more money to be able to play faster? Or?
Well, you can, and that's the thing. You can look for apps that you actually pay for. You want to read about them because they may give you endless lives, unlimited play. They may give you upgrades. So look at that. The games that are free, most often it's 99 cents up to $5.99, up to a lot more. And they'll entice you with sales, bundle deals, all kinds of sales pitches. So what we want to do is make sure if you're playing with, if your child has them, make sure you're setting up settings that they cannot go and buy lives.
Don't let them buy anything on their own because they don't get the concept. My daughter wants to come to me all the time. She wants, Mommy, can I have Robux? Can I have some more Robux? But you have to ask me. I have to put in the password, and then it,
That's the way to do it, and it's going to vary on Android, whatever phone you're using. But go to your settings, find out how to do that, and I really encourage people to do that. Read the privacy policies. Make sure you're checking off all those boxes to protect yourself and your children.
But I think it's interesting. The first thing you said is that sometimes it might be worth it to pay for the game because whatever you're going to pay out of pocket one time is a lot less expensive than all the in-app stuff you're going to buy when it's free.
All of a sudden you can have a $100 bill just from doing this because you get caught up in the moment late at night. Not that I know, I'm saying this from a friend, but so you really have to be careful, set a budget or just pay up front.
I'm going to hold your hand. We're going to talk about this after the show. And all right, let's get over to meteorologist Justin Chambers. Are you a gamer at all? Do you know that?
No, I mean,
you don't get caught up in this.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. Some of them are just kind of beyond. Like I really liked Super Punch Out back in the day, and like Madden, like the original NFL Madden and everything. But now it's just kind of like not doing it. So either way.
Good. You're saving money.
To each their own. Yes, whatever you like to do. Hey, by the way, we're talking about another day with the clouds, the drizzle, the fog that's out there. Now, I will say the positive to all this is that we have not been really cold. Our mornings have been more mild, and even the afternoons are staying in the 60s. It's that fog. Look at that. We have these areas here in orange up to APG and heading up 95 north if you're heading up towards Cecil County and on the way to Delaware or Philadelphia this morning or Pennsylvania. You can see that low cloud cover. We've got the fog as well in the Eastern Shore, which actually has a bunch of school districts on the Eastern Shore under delays because of the foggy conditions out there. This is a look at our HD radar. This is our next weather maker, an area of low pressure over the Great Lakes. We're going to see this cold front eventually make its way here. We'll pick up some showers ahead of the front, and temperatures are still going to be kind of mild later this afternoon. But behind the front, what I'm looking forward to, and I think a lot of you are, sunshine. That's what we're going to be seeing tomorrow into Friday and Saturday as well. Upper 50s next hour in the Bromo Seltzer Tower downtown, looking at 63 by noon. Not another good day to be outdoors for lunch. Don't worry, tomorrow will be good. And then 67 in that 2 and 3 o'clock hour for you today. Should top out about 67, which should be a couple degrees above average for this time of year. The sun will be up in a few minutes and will be up until 6:13 tonight. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s across Westminster and Cockeysville, Hunt Valley over to Bel Air. Eastern Shore, you're in the mid to upper 60s, even with a foggy morning, still mild for the afternoon. That continues up and down the 95 corridor in the mid-Atlantic. Look how much cooler we are just to the west. Areas in Columbus, Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia, almost in the 80s the last couple of days, and you can see where that cooler air is right behind that front. Here it comes, moving in from west to east, and we'll see that pick up later today. Dropping the area, moving the clouds out tonight. Tomorrow, look at that. Finally, a lot of sunshine, even though we'll have some of the northerly gusty winds that we'll deal with, and we'll keep that going into Friday. Shout out to Becky for sending me this picture. Now, this is Shelly and Darren's dog, Sassy. Sassy is dressed up, and that, my friends, is Grandma Hagel. That is my wife's grandma, my grandma too. So in Dundalk, she's hanging out. She loves Sassy. Shelly and Darren dressing up Sassy, and Grandma's like, can we just keep the dog? I don't think Grandpa Hagel's having that. So anyway, Halloween pet pics, JC Chambers at foxbaltimore.com. Numbers here, not too bad. 66 tomorrow, lower 60s Friday and Saturday. And you can see our witch there on Monday. It is going to be a little bit rainy for some of the trick-or-treaters potentially on Monday night.
Job of the Day is sponsored by Antwerpen Auto Group.
7:22, and we're getting Maryland back to work. It's time for our Job of the Day. Maryland Department of Health is hiring an administrative assistant under Family Health and Chronic Disease Services. If you'd like some more information about this position, go to our website, foxbaltimore.com. If you're an employer with jobs that still need to be filled, please send your information to news@foxbaltimore.com.
Carjackings, robberies, and burglaries. Coming up, we are live with a hearing happening today about crime trends right here in the city.
The Woodley Bakery has been a fixture in Northeast Baltimore for almost 90 years. We'll tell you what's going on for the holidays coming up next on Fox 45 Morning News, all local all morning long.
Yeah, less than 20% of recyclables actually get recycled.
7:25 now is So Baltimore. Satisfy your sweet tooth with some fresh baked goods.
That's right. The Woodley Bakery leading the way with freshly baked, from scratch everything. Be More Lifestyle host Mark Clark. Did you eat that massive donut earlier, Mark, that you were showing us?
Oh, I took it down. I'm going to have to get on the elliptical for 4 days now. But we're with Charles here. Charles has donut dough running through his veins. 4 generations, guys. 4 generations here. So, man, tell us about what's going on. It's the holiday season. I mean, everybody knows about you guys. How does it feel to be the next king?
It feels good. Getting ready for the holidays. We're busy. Got a lot of pie orders coming in. Just trying to get everybody their Thanksgiving and Christmas treats.
Charles, pumpkin. What's the most popular pie? Please, what's the most popular pie?
It's probably a cross between the apple and the pumpkin.
Interesting. For the holiday, apple and pumpkin.
Apple and pumpkin are 2 biggest sellers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what about cakes?
Cakes, that's tough. We have such a variety that it's like, you sell a lot. Usually probably the chocolate cake or the yellow icing's by the...
Well, coming up, we're going to actually do a pumpkin pie next, guys.
Okay.
I'm distracted by all the...
Yeah, I have no idea what he said. I was just looking at all the pies they were showing.
We were picking out the ones we like. We like the coconut custard. I mean, so many, yeah. All right, we're going to check in with Mark again in a little bit. But if you want information on Woodley Bakery, it's on our website, foxbaltimore.com/newslinks.
Temperatures in the 50s, a lot of fog this morning here.
Coming up, we got meteorologist Justin Chambers letting us know when we could see our next chance of rain. I don't know if that's good or bad to clear out the fog. 7:27 is the time.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
We are counting down the hours until the next Ravens kickoff, which is tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. On your left, you're looking at how the Ravens are gearing up for the game against the Buccaneers. On your right, through the fog, not even, you just can't see it, but that's a live look over at M&T Bank Stadium. Good thing they're not playing there tomorrow because, you'd be in the stands trying to see the team on the ground.
Have to put those yellow neon lights on the players, see where it is, where the ball is. Yeah.
The fog out there is amazing this morning. Good morning on this Wednesday. 7:30 is the time. I'm Patrice Sanders.
I'm Tom Rogers. We want to go right over to meteorologist Justin Chambers talking about the fog.
Yeah, but the thing is, Patrice, Tom, good morning to both of you. If it was tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night, it'd be great because we're not going to have to deal with the fog. As if they were playing right now, we would definitely need to have something to identify which play. Wait, I think that's Lamar. Oh, hold on. There's Bateman. Yeah, no, you can't see anything. So we are seeing the visibility that is reduced, especially in the Eastern Shore. We've got school delays for a lot of the counties there. A mile, even less than a half a mile visibility. That's almost right down to the ground. So that's why we talk about taking it slow, especially even if you go up 95 north up through Aberdeen and heading up through Cecil County up toward Delaware. You're going to run into some of that fog and the low clouds. Upper 50s and lower 60s here. Your temperatures right now, and on your morning drive, Mr. Bo says take it slow. Plan for a little extra time on the commute. Make sure to give plenty of room with the car in front of you as you're out there on the roadways. 67 today. We will see a few showers as a cold front comes in, but improving conditions. Thursday and Friday both. A lot more sunshine and slightly cooler as well. We'll take a closer look at that next weather maker coming up in just a few. Tom?
All right, thank you, Justin. Taking a look at your Lens Stoller Traffic Network here, and you can see some of the slowdowns that are causing your morning commute to take a lot longer there. Bottom side there, that's 95, bottom right, 95 right at, I believe that's 32. That's that 3 vehicle accident now. 95 right at Patuxent Parkway, causing some slowdowns, but it's really 70 eastbound. Top camera that you see right there slowly moving there, and that's because of 2 vehicles involved in that accident. That's backing you up for miles there. Plus, we also just had another one, 2-vehicle accident in Timonium northbound on 83.
7:32 now. We start this half hour in a city in crisis. Baltimore City on track to see its 8th straight year with more than 300 murders, making the city one of the most deadly in America.
And today, city leaders will be meeting to monitor the progress of intervention efforts.
Shannon Lilly is joining us live from downtown Baltimore with what we can expect from this hearing today. Shannon?
Yeah, this hearing will focus on crime trends, Patrice, like robberies, burglaries, carjackings, all of which that we know are up this year. In fact, Baltimore City Police said just in the first 3 weeks of 2022, carjackings were up by 71%. Now, we've covered several high-profile cases like the one you're looking at right here, the case of Amazon delivery driver Chelsea Nicolette.
Your sister was carjacked and they ran over her with her own car. He turned around and slammed on the gas and plowed right into her.
Now, as for today's hearing addressing these problems, we have a look at the details right here. The City Council's Public Safety and Government Operations Committee will hold it with the Baltimore City Police Department, and they are going to be going over their quarterly crime stats and violence prevention plan. They're going to be monitoring the progress of that plan. This all starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon at City Hall. Now, the city and the public is invited to come and attend. You can speak at this hearing. Also, you can speak online. Of course, we will be covering it on air and online as well. Reporting live in downtown Baltimore, I'm Shannon Lilly, Fox 45 Morning News.
Fox 45 News is taking you beyond the podium as we count down the days to Election Day.
And when you go to vote on November 8th, you will see question number 4, which gives voters the opportunity to vote yes or no on legalizing cannabis for those 21 years and older in Maryland.
Olivia Dance is joining us now from downtown Baltimore after speaking with people on both sides of the aisle when it comes to legalization. Olivia?
Well, Tom and Patrice, if the majority of voters choose yes on question 4, then on July 1st, 2023, cannabis will be legalized for Marylanders 21 years and older. So I took a closer look at the final push before Election Day.
Let's not create a new addiction for profit industry.
Voting yes on question 4 can free someone.
This afternoon, supporters of legalization are holding a conference with state leaders. I spoke with Eugene Monroe, who is a former Baltimore Raven and the Yes on 4 campaign chairman. He tells me he personally has found benefits from cannabis.
Voting yes on question 4 will be a monumental step in Maryland, but more so, I think it could really send a message on the national stage about the importance of ending prohibition and the issues that we highlight, like record expungement, which gives people normalcy in their lives back and a chance. It gives them opportunity. It gives them hope.
The Yes on 4 campaign believes legalization could provide social justice, job opportunities, health benefits, and more, even the ability for law enforcement to redirect officers to police more violent crimes rather than cannabis charges. But there's also many against legalization, including Smart Approaches to Marijuana, a bipartisan organization.
In Colorado, there's more pot shops and Starbucks and McDonald's combined. And they're disproportionately placed in minority communities, for example, in Denver. And, you know, that should be something very concerning for Maryland. And where in Baltimore, you have 8 times as many liquor stores in communities of color as other places. We have no reason to believe that this industry is going to act any differently, especially based on what we're looking at happening in other states.
Smart Approaches to Marijuana is aiming to prevent a new addiction for profit industry, comparing the cannabis industry to that of big tobacco and alcohol. The group says they do, however, advocate for decriminalization, but ultimately it will be the decision of voters on November 8th. And if question 4 is passed, the General Assembly will still need to create laws surrounding illegal distribution, regulation, and more. For now, reporting live in Baltimore, I'm Olivia Dance, Fox 45 Morning News.
Be sure to check out the Fox 45 voter guide for all of our reporting on the upcoming general election, plus important dates to mark on your calendar. Click on the QR code right there on your screen. That will take you straight there, or you can head to foxbaltimore.com/vote2022.
Well, the countdown to Election Day is underway, and some states are already seeing flaws in early voting. Coming up, the legal action being taken against one county.
Oh, foggy morning with temperatures in the 50s. Meteorologist Justin Chambers will let us know when it's going to clear up and warm up. 7:37, you're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.
Right now, early in-person voting is underway in several states.
Yeah, Megan Gillen is at our live center right now with a closer look from Nevada, where there's some drama brewing over this election process, Megan.
Yeah, Tom, we're taking you live to Las Vegas here early this morning, where early voting is underway in southern Nevada. But in some cities across that state, this election process is kind of going back in time. Starting today in Nye County, officials will begin to count ballots by hand. This is something that the state's American Civil Liberties Union is now suing the county for, alleging that it puts voters, especially those with disabilities, at risk. Listen.
Invades their privacy because they'll have to ask in terms of what that disability is, but it also does not create equal access to the polls and prevents access for them to be able to cast their ballot.
Well, the ACLU says that they are also concerned how long hand counting ballots could take, leading to a delay in election results. People are allowed to observe this process, but they must certify that they will not release any results until it's complete. While that drama unfolds there in Nevada, early voting kicking off in several other states across the country. You see those indicated in the navy blue. Maryland right here, one of them. Voters here can hit the polls starting tomorrow. That's the latest from our live center. Patrice?
Your Beyond the Podium coverage continues. Coming up after the break, the representative vying for your vote to become Maryland's new state's attorney.
Popular restaurant facing major recalls over the thin blue rubber piece in their food. The dates from the product that was made coming up. That's not edible right there. That's Ponsar. All right, we'll find out about that story coming up after the break. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning. 7:44 and Fox 45 is bringing you Beyond the Podium and right to the candidates wanting your vote as we are now less than 2 weeks from Election Day. Joining us now, representing Maryland's 4th District and running for Maryland's State Attorney, Anthony Brown. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, but I want to ask you first, where are you on policing and recruiting following the stance on defund the police?
Yeah, absolutely. We need law enforcement that are doing a job, doing the right job in the community. So we've got to recruit and retain the best and, like every profession, hold members of law enforcement accountable for their good conduct and their bad conduct. So certainly have to fund the police. That's what communities around the state of Maryland want, they deserve, they need. That's how we're going to fight crime.
And well, right now we're talking about, though, violent crime is higher not only in Baltimore, but across the entire state, though. So why is that?
Look, we've seen that starting at the time of the pandemic. And it's not just in Baltimore City, it's not just in Maryland, it's around the country. I think that we certainly need more resources to investigate and prosecute crime, particularly focusing on violent crime. But I also have been advocating during the course of this campaign, we've got to be looking at criminal justice reform, juvenile justice reform, to make sure that our actions in prosecuting cases don't convert people into lifetime offenders. So, you know, we incarcerate the higher rate of African Americans in Maryland than any other state in the nation. It's not fair, it's not equitable, and it certainly doesn't make our communities safer.
So then where are you with low-level crimes, though, where, as we say, some people are calling them progressive prosecutors and their policies on not prosecuting low-level crimes?
Look, prosecutors do have limited resources. We see often difficulty in recruiting and retaining those prosecutors. You're going to have to prioritize the crimes and offenses that you're going after. You should start, I believe, with the most violent crimes. I also believe that in the case of juveniles, children who commit misdemeanors, and it doesn't include a weapon, or I should say a gun, and we're talking about misdemeanors low level, we should be focusing more on diversionary programs, the wraparound services to restore them back to their families and the community. It's more rehabilitative than punitive, and I think if we do that, we're going to drive down the rate of juvenile recidivism.
Anything on Safe Streets, though, in Baltimore? I mean, that's a program that kind of tries to stop things before it happens. Have you been able to look into that, and would you back that?
Look, certainly we'll be looking into that and supporting that as best I can. I always have. You know, the effort ought to be, where possible, to prevent crime from happening, to address the underlying causes. It's not only the just thing to do, it's not only the right thing, but it's usually the less expensive way to approach public safety. Hit it before it starts, and Safe Streets is one of those types of programs.
Now, I know you're U.S. Congressman, but when we were talking about, you've been very vocal against the Governor Larry Hogan here, talking about different policies and what he's pushing for crime, though. The delegate did not push for any of Hogan's crime policies. In fact, they didn't even bring him up for vote many times. Do you think any of his policies would have helped the state of Maryland?
Yeah, I think some of the concerns I had with Governor Hogan's approach is that he was trying to dictate the priorities, particularly to Baltimore City. As Attorney General, I want to partner with the state's attorney, with the mayor, to fight crime in Baltimore City, recognizing that it has to be locally driven. 95% of the crime in Maryland is addressed with the state's attorneys in the cities and the counties around the state. So the state should be a partner and not dictate to the city or any county the strategies that they must adopt.
Candidate for Attorney General for Maryland and Congressman Anthony Brown right now. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And your announcement a year ago, it's been a quick year or a long year for you?
It depends on how you measure it, but it's been a tough year. But I was excited to win the primary. Looking forward to the next 2 weeks towards a general election, and then transitioning to serve the people as Maryland's next Attorney General.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. And of course, we asked your candidate that you're going against, Michael Peroutka, to come in. We have not yet heard back from his team. As soon as he does, we will have him on air too. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, well, here are some key dates for you to mark down on your calendar as it relates to the election. November 8th, that is Election Day. Early voting opens October 27th. That runs through November 3rd. Mail-in ballot request forms must be received by November 1st, so you're running out of time there. And remember, same-day registration will be available on Election Day with proof of address. All right, it's 7:49 now. Let's get over to meteorologist Justin Chambers, and nothing's changed.
No, that's not the Eastern Shore either, right?
That is not, guys. Yeah, and and you know, you put those dates up. We're talking about Halloween being around the corner. I can't believe early voting starts tomorrow. That election is what? Now we're inside of 2 weeks. Like crazy how fast time goes. But yeah, we are seeing this kind of like time standing still, and also just kind of repeating, because this is what we've seen the last couple of mornings. Our Towson camera, we definitely have that cloud cover that's there, even a little drizzle out there as well. The heaviest and the worst visibility is really along the Eastern Shore. This is why we've got several counties and their school districts in the Eastern Shore under delays for the fog. Half mile to less than a mile of visibility. All those areas in orange, especially as you go on 95 North right up toward the Delaware-Pennsylvania line right there. If you're heading up to Wilmington or up into Philadelphia this morning, you're going to run right into some areas, possibly even less than a quarter mile of visibility. So even though we've got the foggy conditions here, no dense fog advisories posted and no delays, at least here in Baltimore City or County. We are seeing our next weather maker. This is a cold front. A lot of people don't like when a cold front comes in, but let me tell you, folks, it is going to help things out tremendously. It will get all this cloud cover out of here and finally give us some more sunshine, albeit it'll be a bit breezy tomorrow. As the kids head out to the bus stop, beep, beep, still getting a little bit wet out there this morning. So have the umbrellas and the rain jacket as well. 63 by noon, into the mid to upper 60s into that 2 and 3 o'clock hour for the day. And our forecast, yeah, it hasn't looked good the last couple of days. Maybe you want to hit some balls under the canopies there, some of the ranges we have. I'm pretty excited to hear Topgolf's opening later this week, and it'll be a fun weekend to be out there and try that out. One of the newest things we have in downtown Baltimore. Mid to upper 60s across central Maryland for today. Those numbers are pretty close to our average this time of year. Look where the colder air is. A couple of days ago, we were talking about 70s and 80s to the west of us, and now we're talking about 50s and 60s. So that's an indication of where that cold air is. Rolling in, we can see that cold front moving through as we head toward tomorrow. Drier conditions for sure into Friday as well. 7-day forecast looks like this, guys, and we do have the witch that is on there, and I got a couple of emails. Rosemary says we should call the witch Hagel the Halloween Witch after your wife's grandma. No, grandma's not a witch. We can't do that. Wow. Come on, Rosemary. Also, another name for the witch, Brian says Hazel. So I don't hate that one either. So either way, there's The Witch. We've got some possible rain on Halloween as well. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a few.
Did you check to make sure that wasn't Rosie Baby that wrote that?
Oh, it might have been Rosie Baby.
I think it was.
Might have been Rosie Baby, yeah.
She says hi to us every day, yeah. It's a short trading week for the Ravens as they're gearing up to take on the Buccaneers. Look at that on the right. Actually, some improvement. You're actually starting to see M&T Bank Stadium through the fog. Team's big focus, though, this week.
And to look at some of the Halloween pictures you're sending in to us, the extent some families are going to stay on theme, looking pretty good.
Oh, guess what? Looking pretty good. Something else that's going on right now looks pretty good.
Yeah, look, it's pretty good if you hand me a cup of coffee because I'm feeling the after vacation
Need some extra
blues.
cup?
Yes.
It's time for a coffee break. Well, 7:55, and it's spooky season. We want to see how you're getting ready for all of its festivities.
Patrick and Cindy Howell sent us these pictures of their Wizard of Oz crew. I love that. This is Madeline and Madden with their chihuahuas.
Here are some adorable pets ready for Halloween, too. On the left, that's Orvis, ready to go out trick-or-treating. In the middle, April's dressed up as a hot dog. And on the right, Kylie, sporting a lion mane, if you will. Something for this Halloween.
Our dog Buddy was a hot dog last year. All right, with Halloween just 5 days away now, we want to see your decorations, your costumes, all your spooky fun. Send us your photos and your videos, and you might see them on air or online. Just go to foxbaltimore.com/chime in.
Well, the fog is staying with us this morning. You can see it in all the different shots. Actually,
That's
not
appropriate for Halloween.
It is, and it's not too bad. It's getting better every moment. Yeah, the improvement that we'll see over the next few days.
Meteorologist Justin Chambers letting us know when we're finally going to dry out of all of this.
As violence continues, mayors from all across the country are meeting here in Baltimore today to discuss solutions. I'm Olivia Dance, and coming up next, all the details ahead of the conference. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News, all local, all morning.